This is a picture I took of Annie. I got her ready for prom. So she's 16 here.
When I look back at those photos now of myself at that time, I feel like I was a baby.
And Jeffrey was calling. When she was getting ready for prom, he was calling to talk to her.
Annie Farmer is one of the underage victims at the center of the criminal case against Ghislaine Maxwell. Maxwell has pleaded not guilty. ABC News first spoke to Annie Farmer in 2019 about her experiences with Maxwell and Epstein, and about what she says happened to her at his ranch in New Mexico.
Can you just sort of describe the New Mexico property?
The ranch was not in Santa Fe, it was really in the middle of nowhere. I think it might have actually been a temporary residence that they had while the main property was being developed.
Upon arrival, your expectation was this was some kind of group thing for students, right?
Right.
So when you get there, it's not. So what did you think was happening, and then what did you see?
It wasn't an immediate alarm. It was just sort of, okay, I guess, this is somewhat different than what I must have misunderstood. When I first met Ghislaine, she was very charming. She was witty and quick and instantly engaging in conversation. I remember I had, brought some homework with me that I needed to work on. And so I think I was actually doing a paper about some British writers. And so I remember, talking to Ghislaine about that. And I felt quickly comfortable with her. And as a young woman, I looked up to her as, maybe an older sister type. We went shopping in Santa Fe, and she took me to sort of natural food store. She was encouraging me to pick out things that I might like. So it just felt like girl time together. The first thing that gave me pause was I remember being in this living room area with Epstein and Maxwell, and Maxwell telling me that Epstein really liked to get foot rubs and that it would be a good idea for me to learn how to massage his feet. I think if Epstein had been suggesting that, I would have been clearly alarmed. But because it was her, I was more open to that. They were really, really good at figuring out how to push boundaries so that I didn't say, no, I'm not gonna do this. I just felt uneasy, but did it. The next thing I remember is we went to the movies in a theater in Santa Fe, and we were kind of waiting around in the mall outside of the theater. And I remember Maxwell sort of acting like she was going to pull Epstein's pants down. They were doing it with each other. They didn't do that to me, but it was weird. Epstein sat himself next to me and very quickly started holding my hand and caressing me and kind of touching my feet and my leg. He did not appear to be hiding it from Ghislaine, which was odd to me.
Annie describes in court filings what she says happened next. She says Maxwell repeatedly insisted on giving her a massage.
I laid on the table, and I was very aware that the door was open and I could be seen getting a massage. And then at some point she just takes the sheet down, so she, exposed my breasts. And I feel uncomfortable. I feel like Epstein can probably see me right now. And she touches me around my chest, but blurring the boundaries of normal or not normal. This was such a scary situation for me. So I just needed to just to manage that and to go on as if everything was normal.
She is isolated on this ranch in New Mexico. She has no way to communicate with anyone. She's alone there with two adults she does not know. She's only 16 years old.
I was sleeping in a small room. I was in my pajamas under the covers, and Epstein just sort of bounded in and said, oh, I'd like to cuddle. Of course, he wasn't waiting for me to agree to that. He got into bed with me then. This was one of those boundary violations that was so clear, but knowing she's there, it makes me confused. Well, if they're partners, why? That doesn't make sense.
Annie says that Epstein physically restrained her and started pressing up against her. And she says she was frozen in fear.
I do remember getting out of bed and getting into the bathroom and shutting the door. I didn't want to admit what was going on was going on.
My sister never shared with me anything about what had happened with Ghislaine and Jeffrey. I didn't understand until much later. They thought it was okay to touch a 16-year-old, the person that I loved more than anyone in the world, and there is nothing okay about that.
In 2019, Annie Farmer filed a lawsuit against Jeffrey Epstein's estate and Ghislaine Maxwell. She eventually accepted an offer from the Epstein Victims Compensation Fund, which required her to drop the lawsuit.
Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers have said in court filings that Maxwell denies she was part of any of the activity that Annie Farmer says took place.
Looking back at this series of events now, it's just so clear how Maxwell was a really important part of the grooming process, and they worked together as a team, I think.
Annie Farmer is only one of a number of women who will make accusations about Ghislaine Maxwell, not all of them underage.
She told me to give Jeffrey what he wants, because Jeffrey always gets what he wants.
He was behind the curtain, but she was the puppeteer, you know, orchestrating it all.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.